Look at you, Dan Cash.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Okay, it's time to address the rumours. Every now and then, I get asked a question. Dan, were you on a Derren Brown TV show? And I can confirm today that the answer is yes. Let me set the scene, okay? I was 21 years old. My biggest fashion inspiration in the world was Louis Tomlinson. I was a student at Exeter University studying French. I was on my year abroad and I saw Derren Brown had tweeted about applying for his new show. And you went on and you just filled out your details. I thought nothing of it. I was living on my own in a foreign country. I could barely speak the language, even though I studied it for most of my life at school. A few months later, I get an email saying, are you afraid of anything? Do you have any big fears that you would like to overcome? And I saw this email and I thought, yeah, I have actually. I have. And I checked it out and it was from like a random TV company, I think, but it had no mention of Derren Brown anywhere in it, or Channel 4 or anyone involved. So I was like, oh, I'll fill it in. It's probably nothing. It's probably like a spam thing, to be fair, but we'll give it a go. I'll take my chances. And then I get invited to a screen test, I suppose. Like it felt like an audition, but obviously it's not. It's like a screen test. And I went to London, and here we go, spoiler alert. The fear that I was trying to overcome was bridges and heights.
Dan Cash also has a fear of heights, which has left him terrified of crossing even the smallest bridge.
I know it's irrational and I know that it's just a bridge, but I freeze when I get to a bridge and I really don't like walking over them.
Look at that face.
Katie Neen's career as a...
Hang on, we need to see that face again. Look at him. He's cleanly shaved. He's skinny. He's got dark hair. He's wearing Hollister. You know, like I know that I shouldn't be scared of bridges, so I just freeze when I get on top of them. That's what I sound like. So I get off the train at London Waterloo. I'm terrified. I've never been to London on my own before. I don't know how to use the tube system. So I'm like, do you know what? I'll walk. But when you walk there, you realise that you've got to cross a river. How do you cross a river? With a bridge. So I'm there on my own, 21 years old, maybe 20 at this point, I can't remember, and I have to walk over this bridge. So I phoned my girlfriend at the time and I'm like, hey, I've got to go over a bridge. I can't do it on my own. Can you just walk me over it? So she does. I get there. The screen test was in Marble Arch area somewhere. Walked in. I won't tell you everything that happened there because I might not be allowed to. I don't know what I signed. What did happen at the end of it is they whittled you down. They whittled us down. The group of people like got smaller and smaller and smaller. They sat me in a room with a camera and they just kind of wanted to get a feel of how I would be in front of a camera. If I would be able to answer the questions right, if I know where to look, if I sounded all right, I suppose. So we did all that. I thought nothing of it. Didn't know what it was for. Didn't know who was making it. I was just going along with it. I didn't care. It was fun. It was an experience. A few weeks later, I got a call, email, I can't remember, bad memory, basically being like, yeah, we liked you. We'd like you to be on this TV show. We want you to just talk about what you're scared of, your fears, and etc., etc. And they invited me down to Sandwich in Kent to go to like a medical centre. And lo and behold, we get there, and who turns the corner? Mr. Derren Brown himself. National treasure, mentalist, like magician. I don't know what he is. What he is a legend and an icon. And I was like such a huge fan. It was like my first time in life where I met somebody properly and was inside just, it's Derren Brown. And on the outside I was like, hello sir, nice to meet you. Thank you for having me on your TV show.
Hello. Hi, nice to meet you.
These four participants are about to begin their course
It's me. See? Behind him now in the red hoodie. Me.
on Remiadin to combat their fears and phobias.
So what was the first step of Derren Brown Fear and Faith? The first step really was going to this centre where we would learn and find out about a new drug called Remiadin.
Remiadin, which they claim completely eradicates the experience of fear.
Having been developed for the high-pressure conditions of warfare, it is now being released for civilian use.
We weren't aware of it at the time, but there were several groups, right? This is a bit of a spoiler alert, I'm skipping to the end. But I was in a group of people that were scared of things, right? So there was someone that was scared of kind of social conflict, social situations, somebody that sang that was scared of singing in public. There was somebody that was scared of sharks. I think somebody was scared of flying. But the three kind of main people that it followed was me, scared of bridges and heights, Nick, who was scared of social I was scared of social stuff. He had like social anxiety, basically, is what it was. And then Katie, who was the singer that couldn't sing outside of her own bedroom, her own house, because she was scared of performing in front of an audience. So we go to this medical centre, right? This group of people, and the scientist is there explaining how the drug works. They use it in the army. They've tested it already. And Derren Brown's getting a bit heated. And there's a bit of an argument between this science guy and Derren Brown. And I'm sat there like, this is really awkward. This is really awkward to witness. But obviously I'm on Derren Brown's side because it's Derren Brown. I love that man. And that all happened. And then we went through to kind of a lab, I suppose, environment. And they were telling us how the drug would be more effective if the first dose is via injection rather than pill.
Because all the research shows that an injection increases the placebo effect.
Doctors have to tell patients about side effects, but by doing so, they can actually induce them.
And it's all very nerve-wracking and it's a bit crazy. We're told that, like, it might enhance your senses a little bit because you're, like, more alert to things.
I'm really aware of sounds. Like, I swear there wasn't that many people talking, and I can hear, like, I can pick out conversations as well.
In the end of the...
No, you can't, you fucking idiot. It was a bit weird. And then what happened is we all went away and lived our own lives. And for 30 days, we took this pill. Now, first of all, they asked us to film some video diaries, which I wish I'd kept. And we had to kind of record how we were feeling, how we were getting on with it, the things that we'd noticed changing, if we'd noticed any other changes, such as like colours looking brighter or noises looking loud, feeling louder, sounding louder. How does noise work? Noises sounding louder, or if we'd noticed like an uplift in our mood or anything else. And obviously, the main thing, if we encountered our fear, how did we feel and how were we feeling as we continued to take the pill? I had a few meetups with Derren. The first one, I believe, was London Bridge, and I met him at London Bridge and we walked over it. We talked about how I was feeling at the time. I remember feeling very nervous because, like, there are bridges, and then there's a bridge in the centre of London that goes over the Thames, which is a filthy body of water that nobody wants to fall in. Very busy, lots of people around. It was a bit like rabbit in headlights. I'm just a country boy, don't you know? I'm just from the country. I'm not from around these parts. I don't know how to live in a big city. Do you know what I mean? And every time I met Derren Brown, I just fell in love even more. Like, he is genuinely just a lovely, kind, gentle soul. So lovely, so authentic as well. Like, everything that I'd seen on TV, everything that I thought that he wasn't, that he would be, he just was. It was incredible. I felt great. I was living my best life. The fear of heights, the fear of bridges, all kind of alleviated. I remember getting rid of a spider while I was living at my mum's house, and I was like, I'm scared of spiders too. Not that that's the main thing, but, and I was like, oh my God, I even got rid of a spider out of the house. This thing is making me indestructible. I'm like, I don't know, a superhero. Get me in the Avengers right now. It was quite dramatic.
It's just incredible how fast the Ramadan worked. It's just an amazing feeling.
Anyway, there I am in my little chinos and my Tom's shoes and my red hoodie, trying my best to cosplay as Louis Tomlinson, as I always did. And it all kind of comes to a head in Doncaster. Funny enough, because of the Louis Tomlinson thing. Doncaster, you know, if you know, you know. And I went up to Doncaster from Exeter. It was the longest train, bus, taxi journey. Oh my God, it was so long. And if you know Doncaster, you'll know there's a viaduct, and it's fucking huge. It's a very tall thing, right? And I'm in a blindfold, and they're like, we want to just give you this heightened sense of like surprise at seeing it. So I was blindfolded, didn't know where I was, didn't know what I was going to see, what I was going to do, and they present me with this viaduct, and I'm like, well, that's a bit of a step up from London Bridge, isn't it?
So I'm in Doncaster today to meet Dan again and find out once and for all if his fear of heights, and bridges in particular, is well and truly gone.
Look at it. That's a big viaduct, all right? So I go up this viaduct, and I remember seeing like a harness and seeing steps going up to the railings and just being like, am I going to jump off this? And like I remember saying like, have I got a bungee jump? And they're like, no, that would defy the point. Your fear isn't throwing yourself off of tall things. Your fear is just heights and bridges, so you're not going to jump over it. I was like, thank God. All I remember really, because it was so cold, so windy, there's a production crew, there was a team of people there, me and Derren Brown living our best lives, and I remember thinking, I haven't felt scared of heights, bridges, any of it, this whole time. I think it went over the 30 days period. I think it was about 45 days in the end. And I was like, I felt fine for this month and a half. And all of a sudden, I'm shitting myself chronically.
Climbing up these stairs.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to... Well, that's amazing. I thought you were going to say no.
I get to the top of this thing, and then we climb up the steps, and we're on the edge of the... railings of this viaduct. And they're like, oh, sit down. Just sit down over it. And I'm like, okay. And I remember I watched it back, and I was like, I look quite chill. I look a little bit unfazed. Internally, I was having the biggest moment of like... oh my God, this is actually something I'm doing right now. Like a month ago, there's no chance I'd have done this. So I swing my long legs over this railing. Derren Brown swings his little legs over the railings, and we're sat there chatting.
This is amazing. You can do anything.
I can, Derren.
Let's sit on the top one.
Oh my God. Wow.
Wow.
That wind is hammering us, man. It's like, whoo, like tornado straight to the face. And it's this conversation we're having, and I remember like just being so overwhelmed, like so overcome by emotion and all of it, not just because of the fear thing, but because I was like, I've been very vulnerable. I'm not a vulnerable person. I don't show that side of me, you know. I've been very vulnerable. I've been doing video diaries. I've been talking very honestly and openly. This is going to be aired to just millions of people in the UK, and it all kind of built up inside me, right?
Look at you, Dan Cash.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
They put that bit in the advert. So the advert for this TV show, they're like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And my friends and family were like, it was a bit like in Gavin and Stacey when Mick goes on telly and it's like, oh, it's the last thing you expect to see when you wake up in the morning, when you go to work in the morning. It was that. That was what I had repeated back to me for just years. So I sat there, and Derren Brown is talking about how amazing it is and how far I've come and what I've achieved. And I'm like, just vacant. And I watch it back and I'm like, that production team must have been so annoyed that I wasn't giving them more. Like, I didn't give them any emotion. I didn't give them tears. I barely gave them anything. And I'm like, but inside, I felt all of it. I was literally like beside myself, but it just wouldn't come out.
I can do this. I've done it. I just feel so much more optimistic, so much more positive.
Somebody said, oh, I don't know whether to take it or not. What would you say?
I'd say do it. Definitely do it.
I'd say do it. I sound like Keira Knightley. And that is the moment that Derren Brown decides to tell me that it's fake, it's all pretend. Yeah, the pills are not real. It's like sugar inside them. It's a placebo effect. Ramyodin is an anagram of your mind. The science centre was completely fake. It was just an empty building they dressed up to make it look like something that it wasn't. The argument with the scientist, yeah, a lie. Didn't really happen. He was an actor. Just an actor. And not only was an actor, he was an actor that had been in a previous Derren Brown show. And I was like, I didn't recognise the guy. Do you know what I mean? And it was just a lot, so much. Because I was finding out that not only had I achieved all of this, but I'd done it on my own. And Derren Brown kept nailing that in, like, you did this. There was no medicine. There's not been any chemistry going on, no alterations. You did this yourself, Dan. Be proud of yourself. And I was like, I am, Derren. I am. It was a crazy moment. It was crazy.
Ramyodin is a placebo. It's a sugar pill. Just made it up. Professor Glanville is an actor.
Okay.
They probably wanted me to be there like, what? Oh my God. You joking? But I was literally just like, oh God, what? I've been so stupid. I was like, and also I was thinking, is it going to wear off now? Like, now that I know it's a placebo, am I suddenly going to sit on this bridge being like,
You do this completely on your own.
Wow.
I thought it would work, but I didn't know quite how dramatically it would work. You've been astonishing.
See, they thought I wasn't crying, but right there, I can see my face. It's making me emotional watching it. It's a crazy experience.
Would you stand up? Just stand up and take it in. This harness will hold you, you won't fall off.
Stand on the stair?
Yeah, just stand up.
Go on, Dan. Look at me go. The wind was rocking me, right? I was a beanpole. 6'3", I barely weighed 9 stone. I was like rocking in the wind. And the team of the crew are behind me. There's a drone, there's cameras. And then the producer was like, Dan, just put your arms up. So I'm stood there like, and then I really awkwardly, very awkwardly, just put my arms out. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like Titanic. I'm the king of the world, Jack. Like, absolute crazy moment of my life.
I believe we all have the resources to make powerful changes in our lives if we give ourselves permission. Dan to get over his fear of heights. I'm hoping all the participants in this experiment will see a permanent change.
I was so overwhelmed. Like, I've never had it since, I don't think. Like, now I just cry at everything. But at the time, I just couldn't let the tears out. I could feel them, but they wouldn't come out. And then we had like a bit of a reunion because Katie, the singer, she performed basically in this little place in London, and he hypnotized her, put her in like the dressing room. They got her glammed up, and she would come out on stage and sing. And we were part of the audience, so we got to witness Katie perform, Katie sing, and it was just incredible. It was such an incredible moment. Like, I'll remember it forever. So then next time we meet up, it is at a science centre. Now listen, I'm the only one that knows it's a placebo. I am in the know. I know it's a placebo. No one else knows. So I'm like, shut up, don't say anything. And yeah, basically there's a big reveal. And if we find out that not only have us little group of people that are scared of stuff been positively impacted, but there were other groups of people. He wasn't just doing it for fear. So there was a group of people that were allergic to stuff. Like, there was a woman there who had horses but was allergic to horses, so she couldn't go and stroke and smooth and or like cuddle, I suppose. Do you cuddle horses? I don't know. But she couldn't like interact with her horses. Taking this Remyadin, placebo, not real. Allergies were gone. There were people that smoked, and like the smokers were like, yeah, I've managed to quit smoking because of this. And it's like, it's not real. It was all a placebo. It was insane. It was crazy. It was magical. It was such a good experience, and something I'll always be grateful for. And yeah, I look back now and it's hilarious. Like, some of the clips are insane. It's something that I will always have such amazing memories of. I loved it. It was so much fun. And Derren Brown is an absolute delight. And one thing that people ask me, even people that like I know but I haven't seen for years or whatever, if it ever comes up, one thing that I get asked is, did it work? Like, are you still okay? And yeah, I am. I'm fine. I'm not scared of heights. I'm not scared of bridges. I still struggle a little bit. Like, if I was going to go up like and do a bungee or something, if I was going to jump out of a plane, I would still have, like the pitter patter. But by and large, yeah, it completely helped. It completely changed my life in a lot of ways. Now, the reception to the show was interesting because somehow, like, I had a private Facebook, right? I've always had it locked down. And somehow, so somebody that I had on Facebook, a friend, obviously took pictures of me from my Facebook and then put it on a forum, and people were evil, man. They were saying I was faking it. They always were convinced, there was a group of people convinced that Derren Brown was a fake, a fraud, and everything and everyone was an actor. And I was like, if I was an actor, why would I go on Derren Brown? Because that would be like end of career, right? You either end your career or you end Derren Brown's reputation. So it doesn't make sense. But there was a forum and there was a photo of me on the Eiffel Tower, which, by the way, I had climbed up using the stairs the entire time, looking down at my feet, eyes closed, guided by friends in front of me. Because I was like, I'm in Paris. I'm going to go up the Eiffel Tower. I hitchhiked here from Exeter. Of course I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see it. And they just took it out of context. There was a place when I lived in France, there was a bridge, but it wasn't really a bridge. The road was flat. It was in a place called Perpignan, and the river flows underneath it, but the bridge is like, it's not a raised bridge or anything. But I was stood on it with the river in the background, and it looked like I was higher up. And again, there's like, people were like, he's such a fake, wannabe acting twink, whatever. They were saying it was awful. And then there was another photo. I can't remember what that was though. And I was like, this is just stuff that's been taken out of context. Like a snapshot second of me being like, get the picture. and I'm out because it's too high up for me. Anyway, my first experience of hate, I've had lots of experiences since, because obviously I post on social media now, so I'm very used to internet trolls, online hate and all of that stuff. It set me up for this. But the positives outweighed the negatives by just a country mile. Best thing I've ever done. So much fun. And I love that now I'm doing content online and my face is out there a little bit more. People are still recognising, like, yes, you've put on weight. Yes, your hair is grey. No, you no longer dress like Louis Tomlinson. But yeah, we recognise you. You were on Derren Brown, Fear and Faith. And I was. And I'm proud of it. And I hope you enjoyed this little story about the time I was on Derren Brown, Fear and Faith.
Now I know that I'm not scared of bridges or heights.